What's up, knuckleheads? Now we're down here with Kid and Company, and in this episode we're going to be talking about our HO scale layout. We're going to talk about the components of the track, how I came up with the track, the system here that manages all the racing, and of course we're going to take a deep dive into the landscaping and the buildings, the things that give it a little bit of character. So if you're an old schooler like the kid here, you probably grew up, and this was probably your introduction to slot cars. It was mine. So I'm super excited about this episode and excited to share this with you. So if you're living that big kid lifestyle, you might want to stick around. The layout. I went into this knowing I was going to have 4 lanes. Nothing against 2 lanes, but after you've had the digital experience, if you have an analog system, it almost cries for 4 lanes or more, even more lanes. If you're going to have friends, family over, me personally, I want at least 4 drivers to be able to compete. Not only that, with 4 lanes, you get 4 completely different experiences because each lane has its own characteristic. So if I take one car and I'm racing by myself, as I go from one lane to the next, it's a completely different style of driving because each lane is different. And that's why, number one, I went with 4 lanes. Number 2, I've got, as a layout, I love speed. Everyone that's into this hobby loves speed too. So I wanted at least two blinding quick straights. And then, like my digital layout, my current one, I've got an infield area here which throws some curves in there, which also adds a little flavor to the experience. I would say this is about 16 feet long. So you got the 2 16-foot long straights. You can get a lot of speed with these little cars, and you're going to see that later. And the twisties here, they lend themselves nicely to some buildings, as you can see. So that's kind of the basis behind how I laid it out. So with any kind of modular track system, which means multiple track pieces, unlike a routered custom build, you're going to eventually, over time, have some connectivity issues. It's going to happen, whether it's just aging of the rails themselves, they lose tension, or dirt and debris get in them, because racing can be a nasty business. So what I do, as each connection fails, and they don't all fail, but they will over time. They can, because they'll get dust and debris between the 2 rails that meet. What I do, as one fails, I simply solder that connection together, and then I don't have to worry about it failing again. Now, I will say this: in a track system like this with multiple pieces, most of that failure, if you're going to have it, is going to occur in the radius pieces of track, the curves. I really don't have a problem in the straights with it, but I guess by the nature of the system, when you're hooking these radiuses together, I always end up losing a little connectivity. And so, like I said, I simply solder them as they fail. You can see another little example here. And that's a good example because the track actually broke off and we lost tension. So I soldered it. So that's one way, if you got this kind of track system, to address the loss of connectivity.
All right, so with our 4 lanes, obviously we've got 4 controllers that we use. The 2 that are purple are Parma economy controllers, and then the other 2 are Professor motor. All of them are 90 ohm, so it really gives us the perfect balance for all the cars that we typically run on the track.
I mean, do you feel like the 90 ohm controllers give you a pretty good linear throttle response?
Yeah, absolutely. Even with the Viper models, I never feel like these are like on and off switches. All right, so for the power, we use these stock AFX tri-power packs. They give you 3 different settings. You've got the beginner, which is 8 volts. The intermediate is going to get you 12 volts, and then the expert goes up to 22 volts. So put that together with the 90 ohm controllers, and it gives you a ton of flexibility with controlling the cars. And especially if you've got kids that come over, you really need to dumb the cars down, slow the roll for any adults that are coming over that are just not familiar with the hobby. Good combination.
The track management system that we use for our HO scale layout by a company called Viasu. You can look them up on viasu.com. They provide plenty of options for the parts, the software that you need to have a track management system. They provide the light tower with the LEDs, the 2 sensor tracks if you're running 4 lanes, and the sensors are pre-installed, which is nice. You don't have to do it yourself. So essentially how it works, every time a car breaks the plane between the light and the sensor, that's how it tracks the lap time and a number of laps. It's real simple. You go through, the counter starts, and as soon as you come back around, you pass over that sensor again, it records that time. So that information is transferred back to the PC where you have the app loaded, and here's a screenshot. And what's really cool, like the digital Smart Race application I use, you can take photographs of each individual car in your collection. You can take photographs of different drivers that may come over and race with you. Nice touch. You can also select single race or an event, and I believe you can track an entire season. In this case, I've got it set up for practice. And then you simply hit start the race. There's your 4 lanes. I've got the 4 colors of the lanes in various locations on my track painted on there. And really, it's more for cars that D-slot. It gives you a visual reference. It's easier to grab it and put it back on the track in the proper lane. But it does correspond with this. And as you can see up here, there's your drivers. It records your lap times, your best time, and it does it flawlessly, by the way. So if I take this car and I come across the sensor and we're in the white lane, it counts 0. As soon as it comes back around, again, breaks the plane, there's your lap time.
So when I first start applying color to a landscape, whether it's a rock formation, mountain, etc., I seriously just play around with all the different colors and try to get a base coat in there. I just really mix in a lot of different colors and try to make it look as natural and authentic as I can. All right, knuckleheads. Living that big kid lifestyle. It's all about having fun. Sure hope you had some watching this episode. And please stay tuned for the next one where we're actually running the cars on the track. It's going to be some good fun.